vuoi farlo tu il video? Eh? Grazie. Hi, welcome back. So, as everybody knows, Christmas is approaching, and in the midst of all that is happening, I managed to catch a cold. And I feel like dying. In my spare time, I was like, I have to think about Christmas present, but I am very broke. I'm a broke student, a broke university student. What can I get to the people that I love? So I thought secondhand bookstores and like book kiosks that are very popular here in Italy are the perfect gift places, like to search for Christmas gifts. And everybody in my friend group and in my family is sort of like a reader, but not actually. The only people who truly have time to read is my mom and one of my best friends. So I wanted to help you do a little bit of Christmas shopping on secondhand bookstores, because I think these are books that you may find either there or discounted now that it's almost Christmas. And also just to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of spice. This is a gift for everybody, but especially you're kind of intolerant, kind of a little bit homophobic parent or like family member that is like, well, they could just like not kiss in public and stuff like that. I have the perfect gift for them. This was a webtoon turned into a sort of like comic. This is My Son is Probably Gay by Okura. This follows the lives, it's so wholesome, first of all, but it follows the lives of this Japanese family in which the mother thinks and speculates, but it's actually true that her son is gay and is having a crush on one of his classmates. And it's through the lenses of the mom, who is the most wholesome person ever. And she thinks about what life could be for her son if she was as accepting as she can. If he wants to come out, if it doesn't, she just like silently supports him being his mother. And it's so wholesome. And apparently this comic helped the creator to come out to their mom, which was so wholesome to read about. It's in the like last chapter. So wholesome. You can just chuck this comic to them, like right in the nose, maybe leave a dent. I don't support violence, but sometimes. Then you probably have a family member that is always like, oh, classics are the only thing I read. The only books that are truly books are classics. Perfect solution for that. I have two recommendations. One is Maurice by Forster, and the other one is Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Watt. These are both English classics. This one is openly queer. This one is more like, in the subtext there is queerness, and as you can see, I love this book. This one and this one are two of my favorite classics ever. So you can just like say, oh, you haven't heard of these ones? There's also a movie like with Hugh Grant, which is like a plus. And you can be like, oh, you haven't read these classics? Such a shame. And then you hit them in the face with like the queerness and the beautiful words. So, perfect gift. Then I'm sure you have a friend that is like so fucking cool. They're like super trendy, always like have this cool aura, and they're your best friend and they always bring the best gifts. So for that super cool friend, I have a super cool book. It's Less by Anderson Greer. This talks about a gay failed writer who, instead of going to his ex-fiance's wedding, he decides to chicken out and travel literally the world in search of himself and an answer to his feelings. It's brilliant. It is so cool. You get to see so many countries, and the protagonist is just like Mr. Less. I loved him. It was probably the best book that I've read in 2021. Spoiler alert for my like best of the year. So like, yes, Then you probably also have, for me it's my father, a person probably in your immediate family there's like very STEM oriented. They're always like, you should read books about math because they enhance your brain, which is true. Totally true. You should read books about math and physics because those are fascinating, but not all books about math and physics are accessible. I'm going to recommend you two books that I think you should read and then you can gift to these people to like placate them. They're totally accessible. One, unfortunately, is still only in Italian, but it's going to be translated. It's In un volo di storni di Giorgio Parisi. He is the latest Nobel winner prize for, I think, physics. Totally accessible, wonderful. He's such a storyteller. Loved him. The other one is Everything by Giorgio Rovelli, but especially Helgoland. It's a book about quantum physics. Not as accessible as In un volo di storni, but still, I think, a fantastic book about the basis of quantum physics. Fantastic. Then I think everybody has a friend or a family member that is always like, I don't read books, I read the news. Like, I read newspapers. So they are used to like quick articles and then like read on their phone. I think I have the perfect book for them because it's also a podcast and it's inspired by a podcast. So I think it's perfect. I have the Italian version. Whoop! Okay, this the Anthropocene Reviewed. Is that how you say it in English? I have no idea. In Italian is Benvenuti nell'Anthropocene by John Green. So this is John Green rambling and talking about various topics from air conditioning to the monopoly to mountain goats to you know, things like the Halley Comet. It's fantastic. I think this is the perfect book for someone who isn't used to read hours at a time. So it's a lot of short articles on stuff, just random stuff that you can read in like a quarter of an hour and be done with it, and then you can pick it up again the next day. Perfect gift. Then we have your mom. If you don't have a mom, you have a mom friend. I'm sure you have it. Somebody who like lived the early 2000s as like middle school, high school, that era, and is deeply conditioned to think about those years with fun memories or not fun memories. Either that. I found this book in Milan for €2 at a used bookstore, and it's the movie cover, which is perfect. I gifted this to my mom and she was so happy that I found this for them. It's the Bridget Jones Diaries by Helen Fielding. Apparently the first book is the only one that's actually good, but look at this cover. Look at them! They're so young. The movie in retrospect is actually kind of cheesy and a little bit tropey, but I love this kind of books. I haven't read this, so I don't know how good this is. My mom loved it. So, you know, I think this is perfect for also someone who is like a 2000s movie fan. It's so cute, and it was so inexpensive. The last book that I'm going to recommend is for a reader friend, because this is I think a little bit denser book, but they're either a horror movie fan or like they listen to true crime podcasts, and I think everybody knows someone like that. I am the one like that in my friend group, so if anybody gifted me this book, I would have been very happy, but I bought it for myself. And I loved it. It's also kind of like a mixed media book, so it can retain your attention really well. And it's Nightfield by Marisha Pessl. This was hyped up for a little while on BookTube, but it then died. This book is very dense. I read it in English. So this book talks about a mysterious death tied to this movie director that has like a cult following, but nobody knows anything about them. And there is this like investigator that is trying to link this person to the other person's death, because there is a link, and it's so dense and mysterious, and you think, oh, is this going to be supernatural, or this just doesn't make sense, and it has emails and photos, and it's so cool, like So cool. So I think this is a night film, so a thriller or a horror in book form, which I think it's perfect for that friend that loves true crime. So yeah. I lied when I said that Night Film was the last book because I thought of another perfect book for this time. Your classic like reader friend, the one that is like enamored by the sound and the smell of books and is not intimidated by a brick of a book. This is my favorite book ever. I don't know if I told you in a little while, but yes, this is my favorite book. It's a chunky boy. It's a chunky boy. But this, in Italian, it's called La Casa del Tempo Sospeso. In English, it was recently translated. It's called The Grey House by Marion Petrosian. So this is actually a series of books all tied into one. I didn't notice when I was reading this. This talks about a house or like a schoolhouse. They like go to school. It's a whole dormitory inside in which kids with disabilities go for the summer to go like to summer classes, and they live there. They just like stay in this house, in this like huge mansion. And when they enter, something happens. And you don't know if it's the kid's imagination or it's actually like magic until the end. And like they form alliances, they go into battle, they fall in love, and it's like a whole fantasy story, but rooted in reality, because these kids are like kids, but then they like become warriors or mob gangsters or they're like spies, and it's so cool. I've never seen anything this imaginative, this well written. It's my favorite book of all time. So if you want to pick up a copy and help out Marion Petrosian, who is also an insanely talented painter, I would love for you to do that. So these are all my ideas for your Christmas list. I'm going to follow my own ideas for my Christmas list. So if any of my parents are watching this, I am in deep trouble because I didn't think of anything else. But yeah, let me know if you're going to gift like something book related to your friends and family this year, and I hope you have a wonderful like holiday. This gifting list could be followed by any holiday or just like a birthday. So I hope you have fun. Also, if you want to connect with me, I have some socials. I have a Twitter, I have a Goodreads, I have an Amazon wishlist with I don't actually use that. But if you want to see what I'm planning on buying, it's down below. And I hope you have a wonderful December, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye! Bye!